morning. Any questions and comments, please do pop them in the chat as always, and we'll address them as either as we go through or at the end we'll pick those up. So any thoughts or questions, please do let us know. It's obviously very warm today, so we're in the middle of our heat wave that we knew has been coming. We know that how warm it is out there, and we know how warm it is on the wards and in the clinical area. There are plans in place, there is help available. If anybody needs anything or feels that they are raising concerns that aren't being raised, please just let us know. The end is nigh, a couple of days of this, and then it will be back to much more normal and manageable temperatures. But we will support and do whatever we need to do to help people get through the next couple of days, which is undoubtedly going to be very uncomfortable. In terms of national days, it's a couple of national days on the 18th of July. So there's National Get Out of the Doghouse Day. Who knew? So some ideas and suggestions to do so are perhaps sending flowers, chocolates are an appropriate gift, including a handwritten note showing that you're committed to fixing whatever issue has perhaps put you in the doghouse. Also National Caviar Day, not something that I am particularly that I've ever tried in my life, I have to be honest, but if you're into that, today's the day to be eating caviar. Okie dokie then. So let's just begin with what happened at Tactical and give you an update of the latest information from the Trust. So Julian opened up Tactical on Friday with the acknowledgement that it's been the toughest week the organisation has ever known. That's with the heat, with COVID, and with huge A&E attendances, which were including paediatrics emergency department, and there were significant ambulance challenges. I'm sure if you didn't hear about it at work, you would have seen it when watching the news at home. We survived the week, and it was because of everyone pulling together and working the way everybody in this organisation works. Everyone was absolutely phenomenal. And they also managed as a team of executive directors to find the time to recognise the time to shine winners, which is really important, isn't it? Particularly, it's so easy to not do those kind of things when it's really the pressure is on the way it has been. But that was an important thing to do, and that was completed last week. So congratulations to those, and they've been mentioned in the start of the week this week as well. In terms of COVID, so there were as of Friday, 238 COVID positive patients in the bed base. 4 of whom were in critical care, which was an increase of 36 from the day before. The majority are over 65 years of age, and as an organisation, this is now our 7th wave of COVID that we've had to deal with, so we're well practiced at it. Due to not having the same quality of data from the community, that means that our forecasting data isn't as robust as it used to be. But the data that we do have show that these numbers may actually now be slowing down, and we're hoping we'll turn the corner imminently and we'll see those start to reduce. But currently there are 5 red wards at St James's and 1 at LGI. Our nosocomial rate is at 23%, so that's the percentage of patients who are contracting COVID whilst in our bed base, and those are large numbers, and something that the IPC team work diligently to try and reduce every single day. We, as an organisation, we have a clinical advisory group, it's also known as CAG, which meets every 4 weeks to review our own procedures. And there's also a COVID outbreak management in terms of the team, and that's for the COVID outbreak management team is led by IPC. And my understanding is that there have been some challenge put into that team last week regarding the interpretation of the guidance. And at Tactical, one of the IPC team just wanted to thank everybody for putting forward their comments and challenges, because it's really important that we work in the Leeds way and staff feel empowered to make those kind of challenges when they did. They pointed out that the English guidance has the IPC manual, which provides generic guidance. So we've gone over and above as LTHT as an organisation in terms of COVID than the generic guidance perhaps says. So, for example, we're completing asymptomatic testing when there's a potential outbreak. The guidance says that you don't have to do that. So I think as an organisation, as an infection prevention and control team, people are very confident that we've got a robust system in place. And then Tactical ended with just a quick summary of what's happening in terms of the transformation strategy across the trust. So we know we've got our own transformation strategy as a children's hospital, but there's also one for adults as well. So Planned Care have done lots of work focused on improving the experience of our longest waiting patients, and there are work streams set up to do that. And there was a talk from neurology who started to use Wharfdale and treated over 200 patients using the facilities at Wharfdale that wouldn't have been treated otherwise, which is fantastic. The extreme pressure on children's last week was recognised, and the fact that people are having to readjust every day to be able to provide the best care that we can to our patients and our families, and it's absolutely doing, and we absolutely appreciate what pressures people are under and what people are having to give up to be able to provide the quality of care that we are doing to children and families. So it's just a huge thank you for that. Okie dokie, if I pass over to you, Celia, then in terms of the operational pressures.
Yeah, in terms of operational pressures, I wanted to celebrate how well we are doing at the moment with early decisions to take patients to theatre that require crit care post-operatively, and I had a really good example of that this morning, that despite the challenges before the 8 o'clock bed meeting, we had taken our patients that required PICU post-operatively to theatre, so not introducing any delays into the system, and we continue to work hard on that, and we didn't cancel any cardiac cases last week due to a bed availability within paediatric crit care, which was absolutely brilliant. The right thing for our patients and the right things for our teams as well. Thank you. Is it over to me for bronze?
Yes.
And then in relation to bronze last week, there were only a few on the bronze meeting. And at the bronze meeting, they talked about the risk assessment that had been put forward by the AHPs in relation to the wearing of PPE for our patients that are having aerosol generated procedures, particularly physios. Now at the meeting there weren't that many people there, so we've carried that forward to today because those that were present didn't feel they were able to make a decision, but we will pick that up again this afternoon. Thank you.
Thanks, Celia. Over to me then for finances. So we've submitted our latest forecast and we have a gap of £1.5 million as a children's hospital, which puts us in a red position. As you know, we need to work tirelessly to try and get out of that position, because with it comes a whole load of constraints and hoops to jump through, basically, to be able to do what we want to do. So that's what I will be doing, working with the teams to try and identify additional waste reduction to be able to close that gap. And it's just the same message every week, but it's just so important that people work on their own areas, and any ideas you've got to reduce waste in the system, please let us know. No idea is too small or too big or too wacky or too crazy. We will look and consider absolutely everything, because that's the way to get out of this. And the second we are in a financially sustainable position, every single penny that we find over and above that will get reinvested back into our children's hospital, and we can do some of the fantastic things that we did last year. So yes, so waste reduction is the key with that. And speaking of waste reduction and reducing waste, I think I understand Hannah. Are you with us, Hannah, today? Who was just going to there you
Yes.
are. Wonderful. If I hand over to you for you to let people know some of the brilliant work that you're trialling in neonates.
Thank you. So I'm Hannah, one of the neonatal consultants, and I'm standing in for Liz today to think about waste reduction. And really the key message for this morning is thinking about how we're going to address our green agenda across the Children's Hospital. And I guess in the middle of the heat wave, it's really quite a focal point this morning, all about global warming and what we can do better for future generations, our patient group in particular. So a small group of enthusiasts are trying to get together, first by email and then actually with a meeting maybe in September, to harness some of the brilliant ideas that are already going on across the Children's Hospital to reduce our wastage and to save the planet. There's been a great effort in PICU with the Gloves Off campaign, and we want to look at how we can scale that up into other areas. I know some teams are getting on board with the recycling agenda, but it's really just to put it out there to say to people, we are trying to do something about it. Please do get in touch if you've got any ideas about how we can save the planet. If you go onto the Trust intranet page, there's a very good page that links you through to the Trust sustainability team, where you can sign up to be a grass champion, where you can record all of the eco-friendly things you're doing, like recycling and turning off light switches. And we're going to join in with the Trust team with their launch of their Sustainability Week in October, where the Trust is going to launch their green plan. And we're just working up some ideas about what we can do within the Children's Hospital to really push this to the forefront of everybody's agenda. Now, one of my great passions in life is being able to put some kind of figures onto all of this. And we all need to take some responsibility for the planet, as I permanently nag my children. But some of the statistics that have come out of the sustainability group relate to the fact that if everybody just saved 10 pence a day on our electricity bill across the Trust, we could save the Trust £730,000 a year. Now, my sort of personal thing about that is if you think about your domestic bills going up by 50%, imagine what the Trust electric bills are going up by. And I think we're probably all guilty of, well, I'm not paying for the electricity, so I will leave the laptop on standby overnight. I'll leave the lights on in the seminar room overnight. But I just really want to put a plea out to absolutely everybody today. So why don't we, it's completely cost-free, actually turn some light switches off, turn some computers off, just like you would do at home. And it'll save us loads of money and also help with global warming and sustaining the planet for the future. And that's all I want to say this morning, but we'll update you more in October when we've got our ducks in a row about it all.
Wonderful, thank you, Hannah. God, that is just a stark reality, really, 10p, because you just think, what difference will I make? Well, there you go. If we all do it, but make a small difference, then all that adds up to £750,000 for an organisation. That's all, you know, a lot of nurses or a lot of doctors to be able to fund then. So that's fantastic. Thank you, Hannah. Wonderful. Okie dokie then. So we're going to go to lessons learned. And Anna, I believe you're going to present on this one for us regarding duty of candour.
I am. Hello, everyone. I'm Anna. I'm the lead nurse for quality. Just wanted to do some lessons learned around duty of candour. We've had a couple of complaints around this area, and when we've looked and unpicked it a bit, it's been a couple of things that we could have done a bit better, I think, that would probably have caused a bit less stress to our families. So when we are writing our duty of candour letters, they've often been sent quite a long time after the initial conversation has happened with families, the response to the investigations. So almost in the family's mind, they've kind of forgotten about it, and then they're getting this letter that's updating them about the investigation, but with no sort of further correspondence or anything, just turning up out the blue, can be a bit confusing for our families. So the first lesson really is just a plea to ensure that the second letter is sent in a timely manner, and that we're not doing it months and months and months down the line, because it can bring up a lot of memories and bad experiences really that families can then cause them a bit of distress. The other sort of learning point from this is if we can remember, or if it is at all possible, to have a verbal conversation with the family around what's been happening or what our investigations have found first. We often find that letters are a bit difficult to interpret, and some of the language that we use in these letters can be quite harsh, and it can be misinterpreted by the families. So for example, one family was still inpatient and had been having lots of conversations with the medical team around what had been happening, and then they received the letter and there was a lot of language like lapses in care and things along these lines, when it wasn't necessarily explained in the letter as it should have been. But if we had had that conversation, that would have ironed out any of the confusion with the families. So it's just to be really clear. And a top tip that the quality lead gave me for the Children's Hospital was to read the letter out loud to yourself, to see what it sounds like, and if you would be able to interpret it in the right way, really, or it would be coming across as really quite severe when it not necessarily is. And another point to remember, if you have any concerns or worries or want any help writing these letters, then please get in contact. More than happy to help. Email me or Lucy at any point and we can help. There's a number of templates available to help write them. That's it really.
Wonderful, thank you, Anna. Some important information. They're not easy to write, those letters, and they're not easy to read, but having some support and available for people to do that, I'm sure will be very much appreciated. Okay, then. So we're on to now celebrating success, and Lisa's got some fantastic feedback that she's able to share with everybody today. Morning, Lisa.
Morning, everyone. Thank you for asking me to come along today. Just a couple of feedbacks really regarding the play team. One that I'm pleased to see that's in the start of the week. I think the whole background to it is quite nice. This patient had been attending another one of our fellow children's hospitals, and the support had not been very successful to support this child's hospital journey. With interventions from the play team to support a range of procedures for this long-term complex child, the patient made great strides forwards and now has much more of a positive experience within the children's hospital. I think what's really nice is that the play team have done a piece of work with Ed regarding raising our profile on our website, and the parent actually found our details on the website, and that gave her the opportunity to contact me direct and feed that back. So a big thanks to Ed as well, obviously, for the support around the website, which is great. And you can read more details about that because that one made the start of the week this week. So thanks to Ed again. The second one is regarding our VR presentation, virtual reality. Our report is now out, which is absolutely wonderful. A 6-month project that we've done about virtual reality, and it's available on the Starlight website. We ran some sessions nationally last week that were greatly received, and Ed will be sharing the link to it in the next buzz. I think some of the great points are that a consultant in Sheffield had heard about this piece of work, spoke to his nurse specialist, and actually they transferred up a child to Leeds here to be seen, and we were able to successfully complete their treatment using the VR, which was the first time that the child had had the procedure without a general anaesthetic. So I think it's really exciting times around using the VR, and we welcome feedback and opportunities on obviously you having a look at the report and working with us to progress this in a positive way for our children and families. So thank you very much everyone for listening.
Oh, that's amazing, Lisa. Thank you. That's a great kind of note to be able to feed people and start the week on. It's really important that we take time to recognise those things. They make a huge difference, don't they? And it's good to know that the website is now in a usable and family-friendly format, which is great to hear. So then we're just on to any other business now. So Ed, there's a bit of a change in the publication of the buzz you're going to talk about.
Yeah, thanks, Suzanne, and thanks, Lisa, for the plug. I'll pay you later. That just in terms of the buzz, yes, we've been going out on a Friday afternoon slash evening since I started, but we're going to switch the buzz now, going out on a Monday, because we've had some feedback to suggest that Monday morning is a better time to receive it, and more people will be able to read it and take it in on a Monday. So please look out for the buzz on Mondays from now on.
Wonderful, thanks, Ed. And Celia, there are a couple of things you wanted to mention.
Yeah, just to highlight Schwartz round tomorrow, the subject is death of a colleague. And then for Transplant Games, we've 10 days to go to the British Transplant Games. As you all know, we have a massive Leeds team of 300 in total. 50 of those are competitors, and that's for children's, and a similar number for the adult teams, celebrating the wonderful work that we all do. And we spend a lot of time with these children and the families when they're very poorly, and it's lovely to see them doing really well. So if anybody wants to come along, join us, cheer us along, just get in touch with Lisa or I. And also, if you would like to take part in the donor run, which is on Saturday the 30th of July in the evening, then please get in touch with us as well. It's more of a fun run than a serious run, and we will support you. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'll be taking it very seriously, Celia.
I know you will.
Thank you very much. Right, so that's it for the end of the muddle. I can see there are a few things in the chat. Is there anything I need to pick up on, Ed?
No question, just a couple of comments. Hannah and Sean have just mentioned about switching computers off, which I think is really relevant in terms of what Hannah was talking about today. Hannah's got a plan for taking that forward, and Joe's just mentioned in relation to investigations, I think it's the duty of candour piece that Anna was talking about, but Anna has responded to that. So unless Anna wants to add anything to that, I don't know. I don't think we have any more questions.
Wonderful. Okie dokie then. Well, be safe, be careful, be sensible, and
Be cool.
And be cool, of course. All right then. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Suzanne. Thanks,
Bye all.
everyone.
Thank you.